everyone, it's Mike with It's Pittsfield Tonight. I'm here with Brandon Maurer. Brandon is a candidate this year for Pittsfield City Council at-Large. Brandon, I'm just gonna, for those who don't know you, I'm just gonna let you go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. My name is Brandon Maurer. I'm a longtime Pittsfield resident. I grew up here, and it's been a 33 years of fun and enjoyment. I enjoy this area so much that I've done a lot in the community to try and promote positivity, and I just enjoy being here. And I think over time I've decided that through my works that I could affect this the city at a grander level, and I felt as though that the city council was absolutely part of that mission for myself. I grew up in a family of basically four. My father left when I was young. I was raised by a single mother. Came from semi-meager finances, if you will.
Did you grow up here in Pittsfield?
I did. I grew up actually on Cole Ave in Pittsfield.
Okay.
Yeah. And my mother did everything she could. She worked at the Berkshire County Sheriff's Office for about 20 years before she retired. And it was her guidance that gave us, the ability to, fight through adversity, because she was up there. At one point, she was the only woman working at the jail.
And are you a graduate of the Pittsfield Public Schools then?
No, so I was a Sacred Heart, St. Mark's, and St. Joe guy.
Okay.
Yeah. I went all the way through the artist formerly known as, because we're a dying breed, unfortunately.
I was a Notre Dame guy, but that might be before your time.
Yeah, no, it was a good thing. I really enjoyed the Catholic school system. It set me up with my morals, and my mission for public service.
Okay. And then what? After high school, did you go to college? Did you leave the area, or did you just get right into employment?
Yeah, I actually went to Westfield State College. Back then, it was Westfield State College. Now it's Westfield State University. I played basketball there, and that kind of pushed me to where I am today. When I got back into the community, I started coaching and working. I'm the active Pittsfield High School basketball coach. It's been a great 11 years there. It's been 4 years since I've been the head coach. It has its own challenges, but it allows me to, affect, the community on a personal level with the kids that I get to coach. I also worked as a Pittsfield police officer. I worked at the jail for about 2 years, and then I moved on to being a state police detective. That was my final gig before I retired. As you can see behind me, I have my sweet pillow. That because of my back surgery, I had to retire.
But you did mention that you're starting to come back out of that now. A lot of the issues from that, or
yes. To kind of generalize the last 2 years, I retired in 2019, and over the last 2 years, my back even went kind of further down a poor road. Went through the gamut of pain meds and everything along those lines. And my surgery in November allowed me to finally see some light. I don't have pain in my legs anymore. My back is it's recovering. I'm going to PT now still, but miles away better than I've been.
Probably sitting home watching a lot of city council meetings and school committee meetings and.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I get to go to. I'm part of multiple organizations, the NAACP being one. I'm on the political action committee co-chair. I'm also on the YMCA board of directors, which is also fairly new to me. I've also spearheaded with a bunch of friends the Berkshire Unity Through Community. You ever hear of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a.
Is that still active and going? Is that?
Yeah, we're kind of like in the planning phases still. You know, we're still meeting. We're trying to make a more effective way to market for small businesses in Berkshire County. Yeah, and that was an awesome thing. It was just a response to how COVID was doing.
So it sounds like you're very, very active then within the community.
I try to be. I try to be as active. Obviously, I feel like I could do more.
So was there? I asked the same question to all the candidates. Myself, when I started doing this, it wasn't a certain issue. It was the Berkshire Museum was selling art, and I wasn't happy with that, and I wanted to voice my opinion, and that kind of spawned this whole "It's Pittsfield Tonight" thing. For you, was there that one incident or one thing that made you go, "That's it, I'm running for city council. I can't take it anymore," or something so serious where you felt like, I can't just complain or talk about this anymore, I've got to run?
I wouldn't look at it from that perspective per se. I feel as though that it's been kind of been a natural progression for me. I don't want to say I'm frustrated with other city councilors or the mayor or so forth. I feel like it was wholly a decision I had to make based on what I feel like I can offer, and I feel like I offer a unique perspective that I hope can appeal to a bunch of people and hopefully help push a better tomorrow, or a more positive tomorrow. Because I feel like sometimes there are some negative things that push through the politics here that I personally don't want to be a part of, but I can only do that if I make myself available.
Well, I've often said, and we talked about this earlier, that being a Pittsfield city councilor, the pay is, part-time of a part-time job, but the work is really full-time. And it takes somebody who has the time in their life to be able to do that and want to, it's got to be more of just the want to do it for the community than it is about money, for sure, because that $8,000 a year is, I think it's more of a gesture to make sure you got some gas money to go to these things. I mean, it's not about money, but it also, like I said, it definitely takes somebody with the time. Councilor Mafuccio, who also right now, I believe he is retired, and it allows him to, whether I've agreed with him on some things or disagree, regardless what the issue is, it's allowed him to really be active. Whether you agree with him or not, he is very, very active. And one of the reasons for that is he has the time. I think that's very appealing with you as well. It seems you're in a position where you're already doing all this stuff is for the community. So I do like that. Is that kind of your idea? You're at a stage in your life where it's just a matter of giving back?
Absolutely. I think even when it came to being a police officer, and I've always just wanted to be able to help people. I've always felt like there's an opportunity to make somebody else's life better, and I think being a city councilor and being active in the community are one and the same. I think that I can go as a city councilor. I'd want to be everywhere. I want people to see my face. I want people to know that I'm there and I care, because I do. And I'll continue to join and be be a part of every organization, whether or not I get elected or not. I just want to do what I can and offer my perspective, and I hope it's helpful. And sometimes, like I said, my perspective can be, can be unhelpful depending on who you look at. But that's just kind of how it is in politics. It's just how it is in life. So
yeah,
I can only do what I
the
do.
analogy I used, and we talked about this earlier, and I'm going to bring it up because I kind of liked it, but the baseball analogy of being called up to the big leagues, and the accomplishment of, like, if you run for public office and you run a campaign and you learn what that's like, and that's not easy, as you're finding out. It's not an easy thing to do, and you really got to put yourself out there. But once you get there, the accomplishment of getting there is over, And now, just like the fans in the stadium, they want to see you perform. And if you bring on a new starting pitcher and the team puts all this hope into that pitcher, and then, 10 straight games and it's loss, 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 loss. Now people are starting to yell out, "You suck." It's not, I don't think it's a personal thing. It's the way the team works. And I look at as the structure of like the city of Pittsfield. If the constituents are the people in the stadium, the mayor is the team manager, and the city councilor and the school committee are your players. And it isn't personal, but those decisions that they make, everyone else is riding on what happens, so I think that looking at politics from that point of view and taking the personal out of it that we see here in Pittsfield, I think is really how it has to be looked at. Even if we vote people out and get new people in, them becoming counselors, was that an accomplishment? Of course. Anybody who runs a campaign, I applaud them for that. But are you if you're the right person for the job or not, that's got to be what happens with the team. Are the right decisions being made? And that really is what it's got to boil down to. And I think the whole premise behind what I'm saying is we've seen this very personal element to our Pittsfield politics. And we got to drift away from that. Do you have any views on any of that at all?
I do. I think in general, like I'm here to serve everybody in the community. And I think by getting out there and meeting everybody, talking to people, getting to know people on a personal level, it becomes, rather than, being somebody who's above anybody or in an elected position, they kind of look at people as like these important figures or like these celebrities, but they're not. They're human beings just like you and I. And I think that if I bring a personal perspective and people are more comfortable with talking to me about what actually bothers them, then I think we can actually solve issues. And by personalizing, somebody's views or somebody on the council's views, I think it's more destructive than it is to be, open-minded and seeing other sides. I think if we stay in the same lane regularly, I think nothing can change. And I know change is very difficult to pitch to people in general, but progress is small sometimes, and it means working with other people who don't agree with your opinion. But I think Pittsfield's ready for some small changes, and then hopefully down the line some bigger changes.
I agree. And before we wrap it up, one last thing I want to ask you then, is there any one certain issue that is the front of your campaign? Is there that one key issue that you feel is the first thing that you have to address or get started on? Or
so if there was one key issue, I mean, I would definitely point towards housing and businesses. Those are my two. I would say my two top. I think with a good economy and a prosperous area, we can create the funds that are necessary to create better housing for people who want to move in or for those who are homeless. I think we can do better in terms of how we serve underserved communities. I think through the NAACP, I've learned a lot of things that I previously wouldn't have known. It's about how things went in terms of redlining in the area and so forth. I've gotten the ability to talk to people who really know this stuff. And I think partially I've been doing a lot of listening to people is because I will feign that I don't know everything, and I want to know as much as I can, but I'll never be an expert on the things that people like the Berkshire County Housing Authority, Regional Housing Authority, what they're good at. But I can listen and I can get in a room and I can talk to them. I can talk to a friend of mine. His name's Kamar Talaferro, who's going to be running the housing committee at the NAACP, and these are types of people that I need to get in the room with so I can sit and come up with good, answers to some of these problems. And of course, these are long game things. But in order for me to have a long game, I have to be sitting at the table.
Right.
And that's what I hope to do.
Well, in closing then, is there a Facebook page or a way that people want to check you out more or look into you that they can reach you?
Yeah, so I have my personal account. That's one way that you could reach out to me. Then I also have my my elect Brandon Maurer page. It's for City Council at Large. That's a page you can communicate with me through. I'm very responsive. I can pretty much field any type of question, and even further set up to meet with you. I like, right now I prioritize businesses to start, but I'm open to talking to anybody who's willing to, let me know what they feel, what they think, and what they believe can help them. I know on your show, one of the ones that we've talked about is trash. I think that's one of the things that I think everybody wants a good a good solution on, and I think it's going to be sitting down with people in the community, number one, and number two, with the city council to come up with a good way to solve the problem of, I'm walking down the street of William Street and I just see garbage everywhere, and it's bad for the community, it's bad for the environment, and I think in general we have to sit down and talk as open-minded as we can to come up with a better solution.
I agree on that one big time. That's a huge issue. Well, Brandon, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I hope we can do more of these in the future. You're always welcome to come on. And
I'm happy to be here. I can tell you, I always start off because I'm not much of a self-promoter, so it was tough when we start the introductions. I always kind of get a little nervous. So hopefully I loosened up as we went going there. So
no, you did great. This is awesome. And I really, really appreciate you, taking the time to do this and putting yourself out there and running for office. So that's huge. And, like I said, anytime you want to come on, just reach out and I'm sure I'll be bugging you to ask you to anyway.
That'd be great. Thank you for having me.
All right. And I'll put your contact info up for everyone. So thank you again, Brandon, and I will talk to you very soon.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.